So our intention was to already be on a camping trip this week, but
we had a couple delays, including a broken rear axle in our truck that had to get fully replaced, a week's worth of rain, trying to sell our truck camper, and just getting this thing ready for a few weeks on the road.
In this video, we're going to show you guys how we get our truck camper ready to sell and a potential buyer. We also are switching things over from the truck camper into our new camper. And yeah, we're just excited.
First things first, flashback a couple weeks to whenever we got the news of the truck axle, getting all of that replaced, and now it'll be ready to hit the road here in a few days. But we'll see you guys a few weeks ago.
Right in the middle there, like right in here.
Okay.
See where the little divot is right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's leaking right in there.
Okay, and so the whole axle has to be replaced?
Yeah. Oh. It's just easier to replace the whole axle than try to take all of that apart. So.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll talk to you soon. Okay, thanks. Just left the dealership, got an oil change and a tire rotation done on the Ram, and was surprised with some pretty interesting news. There's actually a crack in our rear axle, so they're gonna have to replace the whole entire rear axle. Thankfully, it's still under the powertrain warranty, but not something that we're looking forward to having to do. Whenever we had the oil change 5,000 miles ago, they didn't note anything of it, and that was the dealership that had previously discovered that the front differential was leaking fluid. So that's two things on this truck in the last 20,000 miles that are pretty big. Again, thankfully it's covered under warranty, but figure out more on this a little bit later. Whenever I get back to the cabin, I'll try to get some better videos for you guys, but that's gonna be pretty interesting. Doesn't look too bad, so I can still drive on it for the next week or so until the new axle comes in, but wasn't expecting that today. Good morning, guys. We are headed back to the dealership this morning to have the whole entire rear axle replaced on this truck. I tried to get a video or two of showing where the crack is and the gear fluid is leaking out. I can't really see the crack, so that must mean that it's very, very small, but obviously you can tell that there is stuff leaking. Hopefully they can give us a little bit more information when we get there, but they may just take it and start getting to work. They said it's a 4-hour job, and the dealership is about an hour away, so I'm just gonna hang out there, get some route planning done, get some work done on things that we need for our trailer before we hit the road, and hopefully we're not stuck at the dealership all day long. We'll see.
We got time on our side, we're in a state of hope. I need you on my fire. I want you to know that every time you're away, I long for you so much I can find my way. We got everything here, at least to stay alive.
Hey, good morning. You got an appointment to get the axle replaced?
Okay, are you waiting here?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. If you want to have a seat, keys in it?
Yep, he's in.
Okay. All right. It says it's about 4.5 hours.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right.
Thanks. Well, I'm waiting for the truck axle to be replaced. It was 4.5 hours is what they said, and I don't feel like sitting in a dealership for that long, so went on a nice little walk to the town nearby, and there's a river here that goes out to Lake Huron, which is really cool. We've been over here a couple times, but never actually explored, and I think by the time I walk the close to 2 miles back to the dealership, the truck should be hopefully close to ready. We'll see how long it actually takes though.
We got time on our side, we're in a state of hope. I need you on my fire. I want you to know that every time you're away, I long for you so much I can find my way.
Just got back in the truck. It is 3 o'clock and I dropped it off at 8 a.m. So definitely longer than 4 hours, but it was the full entire axle assembly. If we didn't have the warranty, the axle itself was almost $6,000, not including labor. Very glad to not be footing the bill for that one. They said they were going to send it back to Chrysler because she had never seen anything like that. It was a really small crack right in the drum housing, and she had no clues what that was from. So just a faulty part. Very glad to be covered under warranty. Time to get back to the cabin and go see what Amelia and Barkley have been up to all day.
Well guys, as you can tell, I'm back in the truck camper again, but today is pretty sad. I almost want to tear up again. We are cleaning the truck camper out. Connor has officially listed it for people to buy from us, and I think it's just finally hitting that we're actually selling this place that we've loved for the last 2 years. Again, maybe for a lot of people who don't travel in a camper or understand, this place has been a home to us for 2 years. We have seen so many beautiful places, and those who have been here since the beginning with this truck camper, thank you for sticking along and also staying with us through our new camper. But I thought I would take you guys along as we clean it up and give it a nice deep clean for the new homeowners that will hopefully love it as much as we do. End of an era. Chick-fil-A straws. Too classic.
And I swear that we got nothing to fear. It's a miracle.
On cleaning stuff out, I've only been doing the dinette and kitchen area, but the amount of memories that are popping up while I grab stuff and just being like, oh my gosh, I forgot about it. I mean, seriously, there's not much storage in here, but you can find some things that have been hidden in the back nooks and crannies. Like, I found Connor's fishing rod, and that just brings back really good memories when we went fishing with his dad in Colorado and ate the fish we caught. And just a blanket that I found that has been around since Connor and I first met, and we absolutely love it. It's just cozy, brings back old memories, and it's just a good blanket. And yeah, just other stuff. It's cute. Not me tearing up 2 videos in a row, but it's good memories. I'll put in some old clips just to reminisce on this old camper before we get rid of it and show all the memories we've had together. The junk drawer. Marky's little balloon pads for winter camping. Cards. If you know, you know, all the time. Gorilla Glue to fix everything that breaks in a camper. Santa Fe ski lift ticket. That was one of our best days.
As we're going through getting all the stuff out of our Lance truck camper, we're going to go ahead and take our ventilation kit that was under the mattress and put it in our new Winnebago. That way, hopefully, we don't have any mold issues. Works great here, and should work just as good in our new camper.
I saw you walking the line.
And the floss stick.
There are floss sticks everywhere.
That with you I feel alive.
That's what you're trying to say.
I will say that was a pain in the butt getting out. Our mattress in here is just so springy and bendy that it's impossible for both of us to just hold it up because it just kind of swoops in the middle, and Connor just held it up with his head. So we're gonna go put this in our new camper.
We're going through and getting a bunch of small projects on the trailer buttoned up that we would like to get done before we take our next trip, which will be up into the Lake Superior region of Michigan. And one of those things is replacing the rear tail lights here. A, they're just the halogen versions and they're not very bright, but B, our license plate bracket broke last time whenever we were trying to take it off from the previous owner. So I went ahead and ordered just new lights anyway. We're gonna get these switched out, and then we're also cleaning out the truck camper and putting everything into the trailer. So busy day here, working at the shop. But it's a productive one, and it's stuff that we definitely need to get done. There we go. New taillights, much better, and they're a lot brighter. Another must-change thing on the trailer before we leave is to get the front 2 tires replaced. The rear 2 were replaced in February of this year, and the date code on them is the end of 2023, so we've got a number of years left on those. But the front ones have a date code of 2014, and that's about 10 years. So we're gonna go ahead and get those replaced before we take this on a 1,500 or so mile road trip. I got the trailer jacked up. I'm gonna get the tires off. We'll take them into the tire shop tomorrow. Should be a one-day turnaround, but definitely gonna be nice to have some new meat on the tires.
And for $250 total, it's like we're stealing them. It's very nice. It is very hot today, if you can't tell also. We're sweating.
Since fall weather and colder temps are fast approaching, I just want to take a quick moment here and talk to you about the sponsor of today's video, Starter King. Between maintaining our wooded property, cold evenings at campgrounds, and now a wood-burning stove in our cabin, we are always burning something. We've been using Starter King fire starters for over a year now and honestly love how easy they are to use. Amelia and I don't like carrying around lighter fluid or big, smelly fire starting logs in the camper, so instead we can just carry a few boxes of Starter King and it will cover all of our needs. Just break each 3-inch square into 2 pieces or 4 and light the corner while you build up the kindling around your fire. Depending on the size of the starter that you're using, they will burn up to 15 minutes, which is plenty of time to get your fire burning hot. The best part, they're odorless and residue free, so there's no cleanup after you use them. Right now, Starter King is even available in your local Lowe's stores, so you can go and check out the product in person and stock up without shipping delays if you prefer. Also, you can order online at their website, starterking.us, and use our code LIVINGLARGE10 for 10% off your entire order. I want to say thank you again to Starter King for sponsoring today's video. It's now time for us to get back in the camper, pack everything up, that way we can finally take you guys on our next adventure. Next on our list of things to do before we hit the road is make sure that we ordered the right hitch lock. We went with the big one. It's from Proven Industries. It's supposed to be pretty robust and kind of the top of the line. Obviously, if somebody really wants to steal a trailer, they're gonna do it, but it's better than one of those little locks you can just hit off with a hammer. See if it fits. Beefy. Now we at least know that this is the correct hitch lock for this 2 5/16 inch coupler. Again, it's just kind of the best thing that we can do to help prevent something from happening to our trailer. Obviously, if somebody really wants to and tries hard enough, they can take almost anything and get any lock off, but this just keeps those eyes off of it and gives us a little bit of a peace of mind whenever we leave our camper at a campground. Now we're gonna work on trying to get the battery installed inside the camper. We're switching from the 12-volt batteries on the tongue to our Goal Zero, so hopefully we can get that figured out. So our Winnebago camper only came with one deep cycle marine battery in the front, and this next couple week trip we are gonna spend probably 75% of the time at plug-in campgrounds, but the other 25% of the time we'll be boondocking and dry camping, and this little Group 24 deep cycle battery is not gonna cut it. I'm gonna see if I can get the Goal Zero wired into the system, but I think I'm gonna have to disable the 120 volt to 12 volt converter in the camper, and then see if I can get the Goal Zero to supply power to the whole DC circuit board. We're gonna see if it works out. That's basically the same thing that we did on the truck camper, and if it works that way, it'll work great. We don't have to worry about having the shore power charge our Goal Zero. We can just charge it other ways. And yeah, hopefully we can get it done without taking too much stuff out and making a nice, simple transition to our Goal Zero. Quick overview, we do have cables coming from the battery back into the camper there, and so we're gonna try to use just the main positive and negative. And then the Goal Zero does have an Anderson high power port that we can run fuses to, and then try to supply power from the Goal Zero into the system. Worked great on the truck camper. We should have a similar DC draw in this camper, maybe a little bit more, but hopefully we can get it worked right, wired in, and then that way we can be good for a number of days off grid in the new camper. We're gonna go in the camper, try to disable the converter inside the fuse panel, and then locate the wires and see if we can just get power going from this battery into the camper. After some trials and a little bit of error over here, I think we have it figured out. Now what I did was I went ahead and disconnected the 120 volt side of the charge converter That way it's not getting power whenever we're plugged into shore power, that's trying to send it then into 12 volt. Now the problem with that is if we plug like just the camper in with a 120 plug or a 30 amp plug to our Goal Zero or something like that, it would then be trying to take the 120 volt power, convert it back into DC power, and convert it back into AC power. So it just kind of makes it a very energy inefficient loop, and we don't need that here. I've got it plugged in now to shore power, and then I also have the Goal Zero temporarily wired in here. And we're showing a 9-watt power draw, which is probably about right with a couple of the lights on in here. They are all 12 volt and LED, which is good. So we got the lights on, and here's what we're looking like down here in the breaker panel. Those wires there are the 120 volt going into the DC charge converter here. And then it still has the same mainline power that goes into the fuse box because I could not get that one right there unscrewed. I thought it was going to break. So we've got that. There's no power on any of the 120 volt wires. There is power on the 12 volt wires, but I think that's just because it's wired into the main circuit. And yeah, that's what I've got. We've tried a couple of the 12 volt appliances and everything seems to work. So I think as long as those two are just in the 12 volt circuit and going back into the charge controller that's not actually doing anything, should be fine. Everything's disconnected from the 120 volt side, and I'll cap those before we put it all back together. But I think this is good enough. It's basically the same thing we did on the truck camper. Had 2 years, no issues there. Everything ran flawlessly, and we were able to use the Goal Zero in its full power, which is really nice. So I think this is a big step. I think a big step towards us getting on the road, being able to do some boondocking, and just getting back into the camper. We're gonna get it all buttoned up, clean everything up, get it fully wired in, and then hopefully we can find a place to put the Goal Zero. It's pretty big and there's not a great spot for it, but I think we can make something work. Now that we have all the wiring in the Goal Zero and the 12 volt in the camper all buttoned up, I'm gonna go ahead and get up on the roof and apply some lap sealant on at least the bathroom skylight. I know there's some cracks in that one there, and then the bathroom vent as well. And then we'll check all the other seals before we go. Not sure if we'll hit a ton of rain, but I know we'll get at least some, so we wanna make sure it's all nice and sealed up top.
That ladder though.
Yeah, an actual ladder on the back would have been nice, but
Yeah.
this works.
Well, hello. It is a new day. As you can tell, we are back at the shop because we are doing some finishing touches on the truck camper. I am putting the dinette covers back on. We washed them and then let them hang dry so they look a little bit nicer. They wash actually really, really well. They're just kind of a pain to get in and out. Best purchase ever. Connor is taking out the WeBoost. He also took out our Goal Zero to put into our new camper, and he's also removing our stickers, which is pretty sad. We're doing all of this today because someone wants to come look at it, which is really exciting. We've kind of gotten over the sad phase. We mourned a little bit and, you know, it's time to move on. Hopefully he likes it and wants it. I just finished vacuuming the whole truck camper as well as wiping it down with some Clorox and Meyer spray just to make sure every surface is nice and clean. Connor is now in the camper touching up paint that we have either chipped throughout our 2 years, like living on the road and just, you know, moving things around and things get hit. Honestly, that's really it for all the touch-ups we have to do. So we're going to do that and probably call it a day. It is 86 out today, which is so hot for Michigan. I mean, we've been used to the upper 70s and cool weather, but it is still in high 80s. It feels like Texas.
We kept all the paint cans from the white and the blue because we figured over 2 years living there, we were going to have some stuff that needed to be touched up before we sold it. And we just want to make sure that's in good condition whenever we get rid of this camper. We have it listed for sale right now. If it doesn't sell, we'll keep it, but we figured we're gonna be in this for the next year or so, so we might as well try to get some money out of it. And worst case, we'll just have a new coat of paint on some things. Not sure how well it's gonna work, but we're gonna at least try to get some of the bugs off of the front of this camper. It's been through a lot of miles and lots of areas with lots of bugs, so we're gonna do our best, see if we can scrub some off.
We cleaned it here, and it was night and day with the camper actually looking white, not gray, and we couldn't get the front, so we're gonna try now. It looks like it's already working.
Yeah, you've got, this is your low flow valve. You can open that to drain it. And then
Well, after that conversation, he was really nice, but he was in between a truck camper and a fifth wheel because he wants to have them when he retires in 5 years to go on a nice trip to Alaska with his wife. Once we were speaking to him about the difference, he seemed to say, like, what do I do with this? Like, if I had more room, the fifth wheel would be nicer. And just, he kept seeming to lean towards a fifth wheel, which honestly, I would want a truck camper for Alaska too. So I think he's out for our camper, but that's okay. We're going to find someone else that really loves it. Oh well, one viewer. See how many else people want to look at it. I'm done.
long couple of days here getting the new travel trailer ready for a couple weeks on the road, and we are so excited to be back in a camper.
I am very excited for this trip. I hope you guys are also excited. We are going to be exploring the coast of Minnesota as well as the upper UP, which two places we've really never explored.
Yeah, we're hanging out along Lake Superior, and if you have any must-see spots on there, please let us know. This video is pretty close to when we're leaving, so we will be able to see those and work them into our route. Either way, we are excited to take you guys along in the new camper as we get used to it, learn its quirks, and honestly, we've only spent 3 nights in it so far, so there's a lot that we have to learn together.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be a very different way of traveling, and we hope you're excited for it.
See you guys next week. Thanks for watching.
Hope you have a large day. We'll see you in the camper.
Bye guys.
And yeah, of course, glad to have a new rear axle in the truck. Didn't know we needed it, but we got it, and just takes 40,000 miles off the back end. Not a bad thing.